Our viewers, welcome to our today's topic, and our hashtag today is Fixing the Nation. We are fixing our nation, Kenya, and today we have the journalist, as you know, Mr. Clement Ouma. Welcome so much, Mr. Clement.
Thank you very much.
Yes, who is Mr. Clement?
Oh, Clement Oma is a journalist by profession and also a commentator, a sports commentator, a political analyst, and also a content creator. So I've been in this field for quite long, and as far as I'm concerned, it is an important it will be important if we talk about our nation, Kenya, if we talk about the ills that are ailing this country, and that's why we are here to tackle some of these issues. We want to talk about our constitution, the constitution of Kenya, and the sovereignty of this constitution.
And talking about it, our focus today is Constitution, the Constitution, and specifically Chapter 1 of the Constitution. You've heard of the power to the people. So today we can look at the sovereignty of the people. What is your take on this chapter?
Oh, I understand this chapter very well. And when you talk about the sovereignty of the people, now this chapter clearly indicates the rights and what the people of Kenya need to do as far as this constitution is concerned. Now, when you talk about the sovereignty, now each individual and each and every individual has a right to demonstrate. Let's say, for example, that there is something ailing this country. Let's talk of corruption, let's talk of bad governance, let's talk of insecurity, let's talk of the ills that are ailing this country. When these things are happening, they cannot just happen under our watch. We have to come up, we have to find out the solutions. And the people of Kenya have the rights to demonstrate, to show their grievances to some of these things that are ailing the country. For example, when there were Gen Z protests all over the country, I think you understood and you knew, you heard or you saw what was happening. Several people were killed. And some of these people, they are yet to be compensated. The families are yet to be compensated. When we look at these things, when the police is trying to enforce the law and using excessive force to maybe to disperse people or to quell the tension that is maybe is going on, they should do it within the confines of the constitution. That's why we have the Constitution 2010, and therefore the powers belongs to the people of Kenya, and they must or they should exercise their powers either directly or through elected representatives.
Speaking of the same, this is 2010 Constitution, the 2010 Constitution. The Constitution is about 14 years old, if I'm not wrong. If it is 14 years old, then do you think we have the power to the people at this time, or it's still immature? Talking of immaturity means that we have not reached that particular level whereby the power belongs to the people. Do you think at what extent is the power to the people, and what is your view on the future steps, or how soon do you think the power will be to the people?
I think the 2010 Constitution is old enough for people to enjoy their sovereign power, right? This Constitution was meant for Kenyans, and it was made for Kenyans. The people who drafted the Constitution before it was promulgated in 2010 knew very well that these chapters, each and every chapter of the Constitution, must be adhered to, and each and every individual has equal responsibility to this constitution. We have the judiciary, we have the executive, and we have the parliament. All these people have a role to play in this constitution to ensure that it's successful. And therefore, if maybe there are some hitches here and there in the constitution, I think it's high time the government or the people in power knows very well that this constitution must be protected, and each and every clause must also be respected. if we have a long way to go, yes, I accept that, and I know we have a long way to go because of some of the issues that are here and there. You know, we in what I know about this constitution, it's a well drafted constitution, and the leaders that we are maybe electing for various positions, the president, the MPs, the the MCAs and the senators. You know, the work of the president is also to safeguard the constitution, right? And therefore, the constitution, no one can go against the constitution, and no one is above the constitution. We are all equal, and we must also ensure that this constitution is protected, and therefore we don't have a long way to, yes, we have a long way to go, yeah, accept, but then it reaches a time that we must look at this thing keenly and realize that this constitution must be respected, and therefore, as citizens of Kenya, we must ensure that we do not only protect it, but we also obey it. Yes, and therefore that's why if you see the police using excessive force, you see the government coming with some of the laws that are unconstitutional. You find that in most cases the court comes in, especially the High Court comes in and kind of thwarting some of this recommendation by the government, or the laws that maybe the executive can enforce. And therefore, when you look at this, it means that the constitution is not fully like safeguarded, and therefore the people in power, especially the executive, must ensure that the constitution is safeguarded and each and every individual rights is respected.
One of the main things that came up during the Gen Z protest was that some of the Gen Zs were killed, right? And the reason for that, protection of the constitution. Protecting it means that they were preventing the Gen Zs from accessing the unauthorized lands, which is clearly stated in the constitution. So is it a matter of protecting the constitution or protecting the people?
You know, when we talk about the Gen Z protesting, and maybe they wanted to go to the parliament, they wanted to go to the state house to maybe to remove the president, or maybe to cause some distraction in the parliament. Okay, the parliament is was built with taxpayers' money, and therefore they have the right to go there. What they go there to do is what is in question. Now, when the parliament is protected, the state house is also protected. They are protected areas, and therefore, even if you are going there to express your democratic rights, to picket and to hold demonstrations, you should also do it within the confines of the constitution. And therefore, this constitution will be a bit difficult to understand some clause, because it states that you are going there to protest peacefully, but then you find that there are some goons at that time when people are demonstrating, when people are picketing. We also have goons there. There are also people who have been paid to destroy properties and to ensure that things are destroyed, or maybe the parliament during that time, the parliament or maybe the state houses, if they access there, they can also cause some distractions due to anger. But then when you look at it this way, what makes these people to go to state house? What makes these people to go to parliament? It's because of the anger. It's because of the bad governance. It's because of the unconstitutionalism. Now, when we as leader, or the leaders, especially maybe the executive or the president, because he's the head of state and governor. So when this person obeys these things, and maybe when we were talking about the Finance Act, or the Finance Bill 2024-2025, right? No, some of these laws were unconstitutional, and that's why people were against them. Now, when you say that we are not going to overtax Kenyans, will we go to the streets? Will we or will Kenyans want to destroy properties because of the high taxes? No. Now we should have come with some legislation that ensures that some of these taxes are reduced, that the cost of living is also comes down, that whatever we see, the police brutality also is done away with. When we tackle these things, or when we tackle some of these things, I think the issue of people picketing, going to State House, going to Parliament to demonstrate or to destroy property will come to an end.
And do you think demonstration and taking power through our hands, is it the only way? Because so far it has not succeeded.
It might not succeed, but the fight for the freedom is something that can take time. It can even take years. The constitution was promulgated in 2010, but now it is not fully followed. It has not been fully followed to the. Now, when you see people demonstrating, they want each and every clause in the constitution obeyed and followed to the latter. When these things are not followed, we will fight. Look at when Kenya was got independence. It took time. People fought. The freedom fighters, you remember. Now, for this constitution to be obeyed, and for us to ensure that all these things are obeyed in the constitution and are followed, then we must fight for it. It will take years, it can take years, it can even take months or whatever, but at the end of the day, we should not sit back. Instead of sitting back, we should just fight for it. What leaders should do is just to understand what the citizens want, or what the people want. If you are you're a leader, I should at least listen to the cry of your people. No?
Yes.
But now, when you don't want to listen, you are exposing more taxes. Huh? You are not even making the economy to grow. The economy is still sliding back. Then what do we expect? We expect the citizens now to take matters into their own hands. And for them to take matters in their own hands is just to demonstrate, because that is what the government hears. Well, the government of Kenya only hears demonstrations. Before you demonstrate, before people go to the streets, they won't hear. They will still impose more taxes. The economy of Kenya will still be growing backward. The corruption in this government will still be continuing. And now, because of that, therefore there will be bad governance. And if there is bad governance, the people of Kenya will not enjoy what they fought for. I think that alone, if well tackled, then I think we are going somewhere.
You have spoken well, but we agree to disagree. One thing, our viewers, is demonstration the only way? Because so far, in terms of demonstrations, we have lost quite a number of people. One thing, the second clause of the Constitution, if I read it, it states, no person, I don't know whether you're there with me, no person may claim or exercise state authority except as authorized under the Constitution. So, if no person is allowed to claim or exercise such state authorities, going and occupying parliament or the restricted areas of the country is a responsibility of state authorities, that's the police. So what if citizens do that? Are we not breaking the same constitution?
No, we are not breaking the constitution. Now, when you go to the parliament, you are going to occupy parliament or the state. In America, some guys, if I go back, when Trump was the president, some people went and occupied parliament, and they caused some distractions there, and no one was killed. I think you can remember that. But now, when the people of Kenya decided to occupy parliament, several people were killed, hundreds were injured. Why? Now, what causes all this is the police. I think police are using their powers. Huh?
Which is enshrined in the Constitution.
It is within the Constitution, but now, how are they exercising that power? Now, if you just go to the parliament and maybe demonstrate there peacefully, without destroying anything, will it affect? Will it be in any effect to the parliament or any organ of Nini? Or any arm of government? No. Now, when you go there with the intention of destroying something, now that's where the force comes in, and the police is allowed to use all the powers they have to ensure that this thing is protected.
Does that also include killing?
That it doesn't include killing. It only includes using the tear gas and these other things, but not killing. Killing is not in the Constitution. Now, that's why there are penalties when you kill. But now, let me say this. When it comes to police trying to enforce some orders and law to disperse people, they are using their authority in a bad way. They are overusing their power. Now, you see people fighting with the police, throwing stones at police throwing tear gas. It's because the police have angered them. And now that's why they are retaliating. When you just go there and demonstrate peacefully, what will happen? And you just go back to your place. I think that's what the police should do, and that's what the government should do. But now, the police are also working with the orders from the above. That's how they call, quote unquote, orders from the above.
And the above in this case may be the Constitution. So viewers, also your contribution matters so much. So is it the power to the people or the power to the Constitution? Who is supreme or which is supreme? Your comments matters. Thank you so much. We'll be right back to continue the session.